What is going on, Eagles family? Well, having a very great day. Enjoying this quarantine as much as I possibly can. But I thought I'd hop on tonight and talk a little bit about this roster. We've been talking about this draft a lot over the past week. A lot of good things to break down and talk about. But, today I spent a lot of time looking at the overall 90-man roster. And, I thought we could break it down. So, a couple things have happened in the last couple days. In case you weren't aware, we did sign Matt Leo to the International Pathway Program. He'll essentially just be on the practice squad, so it'll be a player that doesn't count against the roster. We put Mailata. He was on this program, but actually he got drafted, so it didn't even count for him. We put him on IR. You know how the story goes. But we picked up Matt Leo. Another signing that had happened was we brought Casey Tucker back. If you guys remember him, got punched in the face by Sharif Miller last year, was cut, and never to be seen again. Went to the Lions, played guard. Now he's back at the Eagles, essentially a camp body, but yeah, so he's back. We also brought back Corey Clement on a one-year deal, which to me is great, adds competition to the running back room, which we will get to, and I'm all for it. It's a veteran minimum deal, $825,000. Can't be mad at that if he makes a team. So we'll see about that. And a corresponding move with those signings, we did waive Markin Michelle. I know that was a lot of people's preseason favorite last year, but he is gone. And then River Craycraft, who most people didn't even know was on the team, who we signed over the offseason from the Broncos. He's gone before he even got here. So wonderful for them. That's a few of the things that happened. And also Derek Barnett, we exercised his fifth-year option. We talked about what that means. It just adds a fifth year. You saw a couple players like Leonard Fournette, Tack McKinley, not getting re-signed to that or exercised to that fifth-year option. So they will only stay after this year. So I think that Derek Barnett, this is a great move because he may not have shown a lot. He missed 2 games last year, 9 the year before. Kind of like the Brandon Graham scenario all over again. Had Gale on the other day, he brought that up. You got to have a little patience. So maybe we'll see something from him. I'm excited to, have him on a deal like that, though. It takes all the players on their 4th year and just averages out the 3rd highest paid and the 25th, takes the average of that. So he's not going to be getting this huge contract. Maybe he has a great couple years and we re-sign him to a nice contract. We'll see about that. Yes, I can see the comments, Reef. Thank you for joining. It's nice to have the Twitter family joining in now. I've been doing this on Facebook for a couple years and finally got a program where I can expand and try to add to the family. Started using Twitter a lot last year. So it's nice to see you guys joining in. Definitely love to have your questions. We're just going to essentially go over the roster. I was taking a look at it today and I see a lot of great things happening. So thought we could talk a little bit about something differently rather than just all these draft picks. Now, we'll throw the draft picks in. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to, but, figured we'd give the whole roster a look-ins. So what is going on, Traber? Nice to see you. And everybody else that's joining in, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. I know these times are tough, so just trying to bring what I can and try to have some entertaining comment to give to you that you can hopefully throw back a comment my way. So we'll try to run through and, pretty much just, I know. Okay, let's just start with this. Let's just start with the quarterbacks. We might as well get out of the way. Carson Wentz is our leader, $100 million man. We saw what he did in 2017, leading this team into the playoffs, home field advantage. Nick Foles taking over, winning the Super Bowl. Wonderful. We saw getting rushed back. We saw what happened last year, playing a full season, taking a cheap shot. Yeah, not cool, man. So he's still our guy. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care who he drafted. This just needs to light a fire under his ass, and I believe it will. I believe that Carson Wentz is a competitor, a leader, and a football player, and everybody is getting people brought in at their position. They're getting competition. So it's just how it is. And sure, we're all pissed off. We didn't want to waste a 2nd-round pick. Well, we did. We used a 2nd-round pick on a quarterback, so it happened. But Jalen Hurts is now going to compete with Nate Sudfeld. Nate Sudfeld said the other day that, he wants to go have a chance to compete somewhere. So he wants to be out of here after this year. So the Eagles are looking to not spend money on a veteran quarterback, groom someone here. Maybe someday he's worth something. So they say. We're apparently a quarterback factory now. I didn't know that, but yeah. And then you have Kyle Lauletta, the kid from Richmond. He was on the practice squad last year. He was a Giant before. I really don't think, another practice squad guy that's going to be a camp body. But we brought in Khalil Tate. I think we're going to probably move him out to wide receiver, but that's another quarterback in the room. I mean, if you want to get like that, Greg Ward can also be there. But yeah, this is Carson Wentz's team. Don't care who we drafted, what's going on there. This is Carson Wentz's team. That's just as simple as that. Much love to you too, Traber. Thank you for always joining in. I appreciate you guys. Helps me get by doing this stuff. I love this stuff. You guys know that I bleed green every second of the day. So doing this is just, extending the family, baby. So much love to you as well. But yeah, I see it online all the time. People freaking out. Carson Wentz is going to get traded. And here we go. You know what? At this point, if something, God forbid, would happen, at least we have somebody. So it's like I'm trying to look at things from, a standpoint where we already did it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to cry over it. It's like you can't cry over spilt milk, man. It is what it is. Pour another glass, dude. We're perfectly fine. And I think Carson Wentz is going to literally, I would like to see us get another one of those. So I think he's going to be driven to get that. And, you want to bring a quarterback in? All right, dude, I'm going to show you. So let's see it, baby. But I'm pretty excited about the quarterback room. I'm excited that Jalen Hurts is here now because he's an Eagle. So it is what it is. I hope it really does. We can only hope that, what else are we going to do? Whine about it? Like that gets nowhere, honestly. Now, next, I would like to talk about the people protecting Carson Wentz. We can talk about the starters. Jason Peters, there's been some talk that he could possibly come back. And Derek Gunn made it seem like, it's sure as day that he is going to come back, which, kind of contradicts what, Howie Roseman has been saying about getting younger. We saw a lot of fan favorites gone because of their age. So it's a very interesting call. Maybe they don't believe in Dillard fully, but I think they do. We talked about they drafted him for that reason. He'd have a year to learn under Jason Peters and have Jeff Stoutland to coach him up. So one of the best offensive line coaches. I really feel that, if they do, I'm not going to be mad about it, but Dillard's still the starter. Lane Johnson's clearly the starter on the right side. Then at guard, you have Brandon Brooks and Isaac Seumalo. We do not know if Brooks is going to be ready. Last year coming back, that was amazing. But this year, tore his shoulder. He says he's going to be ready at the end of OTAs, which, who am I to doubt him, So all for it. I hope he stays healthy. That's awesome. Then you have obviously Kelsey in the center. But, we definitely have some depth, and we added some depth. I like what we did. I'm a fan of Jordan Mailata. I think, I'd really like to see what he's got this year. He obviously was very, very raw. We talk about all the guys we drafted that were raw. I think, he's a great. He's not great at football yet, but he's a great athlete. So I think, his upside was amazing. This is the year, man. It's either, this is it for him. I really feel that way. So he's got guys pushing him. We drafted Jack Driscoll for a reason. He's going to come in. Prince Tega Winogo. Now, we talked about this guy. He was the steal of the draft for us, I really believe. I think he's going to come in and push people. So, Dillard's going to have to watch his ass. And, we got Matt Pryor, a guy who can play guard and tackle. So I'm really excited about what we do have. And I know a lot of people, we thought, we would go a little bit higher, certain picks. I was one of them. I thought maybe we'd take Cushenberry. That did not happen. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It's over and done with. But look, people get pissed off about stuff I don't think they really put into context. And there's still free agents at certain positions where people are losing their mind. So it is what it is. When you talk about guards, you talk about Sua Opeta, and then Nate Erbig. I like Nate Erbig. He can play guard and also center. We have Keegan Render, another guy who plays center, can play guard. You see that. We're always bringing in versatile guys. One of the undrafted guys we brought in, Julian Good-Jones, I believe, Iowa State, I want to say he went to. He played center before he was moved to tackle, but I believe for us, he'll probably play guard / center. He's versatile. That's the thing we're always looking for, versatility. So there's going to be guys that come in here, compete. I'm all about it. You know that. So excited about the offensive line position. I don't think, it's obviously you got to worry about injury. People are getting up there in age, but you can always find diamonds in the rough. And I think we did with Prince in the 6th round. So really excited to see what he does. And, I'm very high on Nate Herbig, have been, for a while. So I really would like to see what he does and if he could possibly take over for Jason Kelsey, where people think we need to draft one, myself included. So we'll see what we get from him this offseason, whenever that is. So excited about that. Then you move on to the running back room. We got Miles Sanders, Boston Scott. We love that. And then you talk about Vander Holyfield. That was a kid we traded for last year, but we really didn't get to see much of. He obviously didn't get to learn much of the playbook. It wasn't really necessary to use him, but I'm intrigued to see what he's got. And then obviously we talked about earlier in the video, we brought in Corey Clement, brought him back, Super Bowl hero, obviously dealing with some injuries, but he's going to get a chance to compete. And then we brought in 2 undrafted guys, Michael Warren, who I am very, very high on and would really like to see what he's got. Tough kid, 5'9", 225. I think he can honestly compete for a spot, that 4th or 5th spot, depending on how many would he keep or what's going on there. We'll see. But then we have Adrian Killens. Everyone likes him. He's 5'8", little guy, reminds you of Sproles, not obviously as thick, very little guy. So you want to see him bulk up a little bit, but fast as hell. He averaged like 6.1 yards per carry. So kid's a playmaker. He could compete, but I don't know. I really like that Michael Warren. I think that's one to look out for. He could beat Corey Clement out for a job. We'll see there, though. So I'm very intrigued to see the running back room. I'm excited, though. We got Miles Sanders, and I think a lot of that was people were pissed off this year because we realized that pick 53, we had gotten Miles Sanders. Now this year you go get a quarterback. So we know you can get starting talent at that pick. So I understand the frustration. Yes, Holyfield is the big back from Georgia. We traded for last year from the Panthers. We didn't get to see much, but he's another bruiser. So maybe with, he's had a year, well, not a year, but a couple weeks to get the playbook under him. And now he's had an off season to figure things out. Maybe, he competes. So you really can't tell until you see stuff. So that's why I'm pretty much just going over it, talking about what we do know for now, So I'm excited about the running back room. We got a couple bruisers. I was a fan of A.J. Dillon. That was somebody I thought, we could possibly go after. But clearly that did not happen. The Eagles had much different plans. I was surprised to see him go in the 2nd round. That was very surprising. I mean, he's a good running back, though. Or maybe it was 3rd. But either way, good running back. Happens, Now the wide receivers. Okay, let's get excited about this because for once we have a competition. We're not talking about people that no one's ever heard of. We're not talking about the end of the ladder where it's, Marcus Green, Robert Davis. There's definitely Shelton Gibson still here fighting for a job. Deontay Burnett, another good one. So we've got some guys that we really didn't want to have to see play last year that are still there competing. But we get our starters back. We get Deshaun Jackson back. We get Alshon Jeffrey back. A lot of us wanted to see him moved, but that's a hard contract to move if he stays healthy. If there's no drama, please, Josina Anderson, stay away from us. Then I'm okay with it. Hopefully he teaches up. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside behind him. Greg Ward hopefully gets better and tries to compete for that slot job. And then obviously we drafted Jalen Reagor, which love that pick. I really love that pick. We all know that. We've talked about that over and over again. Kid does it all, man. And I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. And then you also saw we drafted John Hightower and Quez Watkins. And then there was another guy. It's like Mehmet or Hemini something. Let me look at this real quick. Something Bailey or Mehmet Bailey. He was Manessa Bailey from Oregon State. That's right. I want to say he's like 5'10", 195 pounds. Sorry, I only got the name down here. But, yeah, that was an intriguing pick. He played linebacker, I remember reading, and moved to wide receiver. It's always nice to see those versatile guys that have played defense. So, intrigued to see what he brings to the table. Last night you saw I had Chris on. I brought up the question, do we keep 7 wide receivers? Because look at that. We talked about your starters from last year, if they were healthy, Jackson and Jeffrey. Okay, that's 2 right there. And then let's assume that Arcega-Whiteside and Greg Ward are still here. That's 4. Rieger and Marquise Goodwin at 6. Did you really draft these guys and trade for these guys? It's nuts. I know you only moved 20 back, and Goodwin's contract, you restructured him, so you kind of feel like you keep him, but he doesn't have to stay. Quez Watkins, John Hightower, are they going to stay on the practice squad if you move them? I understand that you have 2 more spots, from 10 to 12 on the practice squad, and the active, or not the active roster, the roster goes from 53 to 55 on game day. The active roster goes from 46 to 48, but you add a couple more places, but you got to watch out when you put someone on the practice squad, because then another team can scoop them up. So I don't know if you risk that. We drafted some of these guys with, I think, intent to hopefully push for a spot. So I'm excited. They got to contribute on special teams, which they will. You look at the speed. That was the name of the game throughout the draft. Speed, 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 speed. That's what we added. So if these guys can contribute on special teams, that's going to win them a job. So really excited about this wide receiver room. We got about 14 now. We talked about Khalil Tate. He was brought in. He's a quarterback, but I think he's going to be moved to wide receiver. So he'll add to the room as well. A lot of fast guys, though. So really excited to see what we do with the receiver room. I also am very excited for this offense, Traver. I couldn't, last year it was like, oh, here we go. And then we saw in the second half of the first game what it was capable of with Sean Jackson. So that's why we went ahead and drafted someone like Jalen Rieger over Justin Jefferson, which people seem to find confusing, but it's not very confusing when you look at Jalen Rieger's tape and you realize, you talk about drops or this or that. Dude, the only drops he ever had were concentration drops. If the balls were thrown to him, he had the 4th worst on-target pass percentage of passes thrown to him. 30.7% of his passes were on target. That's horrible. 4th worst in all of college football. Horrible. So you got to put things into context, and you see that, this is a piece we needed. And if it's Jackson, Goodwin, Hightower makes it, my Lord, defenses, watch out. People stretching the field. Rieger, someone that can work on all 3 levels of the field too. So I'm really, really excited about this wide receiver room. Good question here from Al. Will Alshon be ready for opening? Will he go on the pup? Now, I had Chris on last night, and I wanted to talk about my good buddy Chris Malley from 4th and John. I had him on. Also, a question I wanted to ask him, because that is something I've been talking about. He's going to sit there and he tells us all, I'm ready. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sure you are, buddy. We wasted a roster spot on you forever. We're getting sick and tired of it. So I, in my opinion, feel that would be a great way to add another receiver and not lose out on him. And then you get 9 weeks to find out. Now, you don't have to keep him on that long, but if you start him in the offseason and put him on the pup list, don't even start him, any kind of programs, then you can keep him on there without any kind of, roster bump or anything like that. So we're keeping him on there on the pup list till week 9. I would feel comfortable. He'll be pissed. There's also the pup list where you can bring him back week 6. Now, I think that's the route he's going to go. I don't think he's going to be ready. So in my honest opinion, I think he starts on the pup list. I really do. I think that would be the smart team move, because what if I'm ready, and then he just hurts it again right away? Then we're dealing with this crap all over again. So I think we give another one of these kids a shot and move him onto the pup list. So definitely good question, and I'm all for that move. I was all for, I love Alshon Jeffrey. Got his jersey hanging right there. The only thing is, we talk about the distractions. Now, necessarily not his fault, because maybe he didn't say anything. Who really knows? Because we can't ever get to the bottom of it. But at this point, it's just become a distraction, period, having to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but it became such a big thing over the years that it just is talked about and talked about. So it sucks. And I wanted to move it. And when the new CBA was signed, it seemed like more of a reality, because now, instead of taking that huge cap hit, you were able to cut it in 2 years. You weren't going to take that dead money. You were going to be able to cut it from 19 mil and then 9 mil next year, rather than just taking a 28 mil punch in the face. So I really feel like that was a move that they possibly could have tried, but maybe they didn't. I just felt that they should have, but who the hell wants that kind of contract? Not a smart move by Howie, as good as he is with contracts and stuff. Especially when you planned on drafting someone like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside to take over. Whatever, dude. Whatever. But now, hold on. We got We got something on the wide receiver still. I was mad at first at Lamb. I just thought about it. Yeah. So when you look at things, one of the things I did when asked if I was going to do the talk the prospect, when asked by Fourth and John to go on the video, I picked Jalen Reagor because it was more realistic at 21. And if you looked at how he fit this offense, it was perfect. Now, don't get me wrong. CeeDee Lamb, I was drooling, chomping at the bit when he was getting closer and closer. Oh my God, do we have a chance? Oh Lord, CeeDee Lamb. He was my favorite wide receiver in the draft. Thought he was the best. But when it came down to who was more realistic and more of an option that would probably come to the Eagles, Jalen Reagor was that guy. Then when you break down the film, when I got to sit there, and prepare for the video, I just obviously broke it down even more. And, I want to make sure I knew everything I was talking about when I went on that video. And, oh my God, like that kid, the more I watched, was just like, holy shit. And I felt like I literally said to my girlfriend, I was like, man, if he doesn't come to the Eagles, I'm going to be straight up pissed. Because I fell in love with the dude. I was like, this kid is phenomenal. So you guys heard me harping about him for weeks about how amazing I thought he would be in this offense. And he's in this offense. So I'm more than excited, and I understand your frustration. I think the frustration mostly came from the fact that the Dallas Cowboys took him. If he wouldn't have fell that far and it wouldn't have been them that took him, I think people would have been a lot less angry and just been bummed out. I was bummed, but anger filled me up, but it wasn't, I didn't blame it on like, oh, you should have, because you don't necessarily know that the Falcons or anybody wants to trade their pick. You can't blame a team like, you better trade me your damn pick. Like, I just don't think, it happened, man. So whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, maybe Judy was the target. You never know who the Eagles wanted. So if their guy was off the board, maybe it was Ruggs, then they went with Reagor. But they say Reagor was their guy, and I love it, man, because that was my guy. And I feel that most people, even if he wasn't your guy, you should be happy now. Because if you watch the tape, you'll be happy. You'll be like, oh, sure, that's coming to the Eagles? Oh, okay. I'm just going to take that back. And who cares, man? He's an Eagle now, right? You didn't get your pick. It's all good, man. Let's move on. Let's hope the guys that we did get beat some ass. We want to win that Super Bowl again, man. So let's go get that Super Bowl. I need it too. I need it too. Now, the tight end position, we all love very much. Obviously, we have the best tight end position, I feel, in the league. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, two of the best tight ends in the game. And then you have Josh Perkins, who did really well, had to line up as wide receiver last year and do a lot more than he was usually asked. So I liked that. Now, he's going to compete with Alex Ellis. Alex Ellis was somebody I liked last year. He kept going on and off the practice squad. So he's somebody that's going to try to compete. He can play on special teams as well. Had that nice hit last year. But the first two we have, that's all that matters to me. And then we added that kid, Noah Togai from Oregon State. Like 6'4" kid. Going to compete. We added so many bodies. There's 90 guys right now. We're going to have to cut it down to 55 eventually. But, that's unfortunate. That's just the name of the game. And I really feel like, the tight end position's on lock, but hey, maybe Ellis pushes Perkins for that third spot. So that's pretty much the battle I see there. But hey, you never know what you're going to get from this Togai kid. I've never really seen him, and I've never seen him in an Eagles uniform, Carson Wentz. So maybe he's really good. We'll find out, right? But yeah, I feel really good about the tight end position. So let's see what kind of questions we got here. Sorry, I'm still learning this damn thing. Loves it now. Yeah, man. For sure. Our big two. Yeah, man. Our big two are amazing, dude. Ertz and Goddard. We need to see that 12 personnel utilized over and over again. So, yeah, we're good on tight ends. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for the offense. I feel really good about this offense if everybody stays healthy. We added speed. We got a couple bruiser backs that are going to compete, and I'm excited about that. So, feel really good about the offense. Hopefully, this drives Carson to be a better quarterback, and yeah, he does what he was doing in 2017, which I think people seem to forget for some reason. Blows my mind. Now, defensive end. That was a position where we always say, the Eagles could go edge rusher at any time in life. We did it last year. We traded for Jannard Avery out of left field, okay, third round pick. everybody wanted Clowney at that time. That was a big thing. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten a cheap shot to knock us out of the playoffs. Anyways, so edge rusher, one of the most valuable positions on the field, definitely on defense. Edge rushers, never can I stop stressing them enough. Now, we have Derek Barnett. We have Brandon Graham. We love them. Josh Sweat is back. Deshaun Hall. Sharif Miller, who didn't play a single down last year, hardly ever got a chance. So we're going to see what we can get from these guys. Joe Osman's still back to compete. I really feel Casey Toohill, the final pick of the draft for us, pick 233. I think that kid is going to definitely compete. He's more of like a tweener kid, but we had Chris on last night and he talked about, that's a Connor Barwin pick. He looks like Connor Barwin in that same mold. He's fast though. He's quick off the edge. And I really think he's somebody that can compete. So brought a little bit in, but we talk about not forgetting that there's free agents still out there. I think that's one of the places where I could see the Eagles still making a move and adding an edge rusher. Obviously, there's people like Jadeveon Clowney and Everson Griffin that everybody talks about, but talked about on the video last night. There's people like Jabal Sheard, Deion Jordan. I really think Ziggy Ansah. There's definitely some older heads that are veterans that aren't necessarily still in their prime, but they'll come in and contribute, man. And we remember what happened with Michael Bennett and Chris Long. They're older. Dude, when they did play with that rotation, it was all that mattered, man. And the rotation we have, we just talked about it, man. I'm excited about what we have there. And I really think a lot of these guys are going to push each other. And we talked about Barnett earlier in the video. We're waiting on him. Time to step it up in your fourth year. You got exercise on the fifth year option, but if you want to get that damn big money extension, play your ass off this year. So see what we get from him, man. Excited though. So that's one position where I feel like definitely keep your eyes peeled because, that's somewhere where that's very, very important. I'm holding time. My favorite part of the offseason comes up. Oh yeah, good old D, baby. And edge rushers, we never can stop putting a premium on them. So I'm more than excited about this damn roster. So I had to come on and talk to you guys about it, and I just see too much negative stuff out there and it blows my mind. But I really feel like, we're going to get pumped up for this. We talked about, Avery we traded for. Let's see if he's got some. Malik Jackson, someone that we brought in last year. Is he going to finally contribute inside and outside, which is something he was supposed to be able to do last year. And that killed us when he went out. So that's going to be a big, big addition to have. You got to think of it as him pretty much his first year here. We never saw him last year. The big signing this year for defensive tackles, added Javon Hargrave. Love that. Brought back Ridgeway. We obviously have Fletcher Cox, and we just talked about Malik Jackson. That's huge. So those four, I love that. Then you got guys like Rush, Huggins that were here last year. Who are some of the other guys? Bruce Hector. And then Raekwon Williams, the undrafted kid from Michigan State. Everything I read and saw, I remember him from Penn State. He looked all right there, but when it translates to the NFL, he's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work. He's like 6'4", 305 pounds, I want to say, something like that. But big guy. But you look at someone like Anthony Rush, think he's like 6'5", 350. So it doesn't matter how big you are. There's a lot more that go into it. But I feel good about our defensive line right now. But like I said, that's a place where I feel that we could definitely add some depth. So don't look past it. Al, throw a little curveball in for Jason Peters. Al, I did talk a little bit earlier about Peters. I feel that we could definitely bring him back. It just seems like it's going against, everything Howie said, but who knows what the hell's going on with him. If we're looking for more depth, okay, but I really feel like we've got pretty good depth there. We talked about Mailata. This is a make or break year for him. I feel he's really got to, some of these young kids could push him out. Jack Driscoll can play inside and outside, and then Prince Tega Winogo. Oh my Lord. Love the pick. So, but I wouldn't be against it. And you see people saying like, oh, move to guard. Jason Peters was like the third best ranked by PFF, like tackle in the game. If the dude wants to start somewhere, I understand it. And if he still wants to play tackle, totally understand it. So that's really, he's the bodyguard, man. I got nothing but love for JP, but I'm okay with what we have, so I wouldn't be pissed off if we didn't, but I'm not going to be pissed off if we do. I don't think it's necessary. So, Derek Gunn makes it seem like it's going to happen, though. So if they feel like maybe they should watch out, if Dillard's not ready and, you don't want to just necessarily throw one of these young guys in the fire, I'd understand the move. So bring him back if he's understanding that it's Dillard's job to lose. So interesting choice to be made, but good question. Then he follows it up with Curry for depth. That's someone obviously still on the free agent list. I love his run support. It's not like he doesn't get sacks, but more of a run stopping guy. Love Vinny Curry. Big fan of Vinny Curry, but I don't know if he comes back. I feel that there are some other names, more edge rushers to be added to this list. But what do I know? So Vinny Curry, I'd welcome him back with loving arms. Love the guy, but not something I necessarily see happening. But like I just said, edge rusher is the position I think we need. And he's not an edge rusher, but defensive end. So cheap deal, veteran minimum, something. I'd do it unless, I'm sure if he's got people calling him, he's going to take that. So whatever he decides to do, good for him. But I welcome the competition. Then we go to linebackers. Now, that was a very big position of need for us. So we went in the third round, got ourselves Davian Taylor. Love the pick. It was overshadowed by the fact that in the second round, we took Jalen Hurts. That sucked for everybody. Try to breathe it in, try to take it in, try to accept it. It is what it is. Got an awesome pick in the third round, Davian Taylor. Really pumped about it. Then we followed up with Sean Bradley. Really excited about that pick. So I think, and then there was Dante Olson. Got to do a little looking into him. Tackling machine, not exactly the greatest kid out of Montana, but coverage needs to be worked on. But somebody that could come in and compete. He's going to push TJ Edwards, who had a great year last year after being an undrafted free agent. Nate Gary's there. Great great in coverage, not great in coverage, good in coverage, but needs to work on tackling. So Edwards is the opposite, good tackling, got to work on coverage, or Jesus, you get it. So these guys all got to work on something. And Duke Riley, special teams ace, but not necessarily linebacker. We predominantly play in the nickel or sub packages. We hardly ever run 4-3 or base package. I think it's like 19% of the time we ran 4-3. So honestly, it's going to be two linebackers. And even if that, you brought in guys like our shape, Will Parks, Jalen Mills, Kayvon Wallace, they're going to come down and they're going to play in the box. They're going to play linebacker. They're going to play, two nickels, we talk about who cares what you call them. It's going to be about matchup situation, who we're playing against, what's going on in the game. You know what I mean? Jim Schwartz is a smart guy. Now he's got the pieces to move around. Love the pickups, though. Bradley can push people and so can Davian Taylor. It's really not clear cut who the starters are going to be there, which obviously we needed to bring in talent. So we thought maybe in the second round we'd go there. Did not. Lost out on the kid from Wyoming. Hey, man, I'm over it. I think that Logan Wilson was his name, I think. Big deal. Like Sean Bradley, like Davian Taylor a lot. Davian Taylor flies around. He hits people hard. Raw, the word you'll hear all the time. Great, dude. I love it. Dude, give it to me. I seriously think he was a great pick. So linebacking core, big question mark for sure. Maybe bringing a free agent there. Would welcome Nigel Bradham back. So we'll see what the Eagles decide to do there. But I would like to see a veteran brought in. But I don't know. And as Al just says here, free agent linebacker. So, yeah, I really feel that we could bring in a veteran linebacker. Also says he loves TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards, I was big on last year. That was the guy that I thought could make it as an undrafted free agent. Actually got into a little argument. Adam Kaplan felt the need to chime in on something that I had said last year about him. I just felt like the kid would be starting at some point, and it ended up he did. Just had faith in him, and I still do. So it's good to see some competition brought in, though. Push these kids. So also a big fan of TJ Edwards, but Davian Taylor, Sean Bradley, Sean Bradley, Temple, hometown kid. Got to love that, right? But we're going to see these kids push each other, and hopefully, I'd be all for adding a veteran linebacker like Nigel Bradham. So all for it, Birds. Go ahead and do it. Then we'll get to the cornerbacks here. The cornerback position, another one. I got asked last night on the video, Was I surprised that the Eagles did not go cornerback in the draft? Yeah, I was. In a month before the draft, if you asked me, I didn't think that was a position we'd go. We traded for Darius Slay. It's a pretty loaded room, but as it got closer to the draft, you start studying some of the tape. It's like, man, that'd be awesome to have that guy. Oh man, that'd be awesome to have that guy. And then after the Cowboys draft CeeDee Lamb, you're like, okay, maybe we don't have so much faith in our corners. Maybe we draft someone. One of the guys I was looking at was Christian Fulton. Jalen Johnson was another one. I thought these guys would fit. Didn't happen. I looked at a couple safeties too that I thought could make it. But hey, one with quarterback, it is what it is. But there were definitely some corners that I kept saying that just kept dropping and falling. Troy Pride's another. There was a lot of guys I really liked, and they didn't make it. But Darius Slay, we got a number one. Let's be happy about that. We finally have a true number one cornerback. Like, holy yes! Like, I cannot explain to you how excited I am about that. Finally, dude, I'm a huge fan of his. So when we traded for him, I was jumping through the roof. What a great restructured deal he has, costing us like 3.5 against the cap this year. That's amazing. The deal itself is like 18 and a half, 3 years. Love it. Love him. Awesome. Let's go Birds. But from there, it's kind of confusing. We also brought in Nickel Roby-Coleman. I love that move. He's one of the best nickel corners in the game right now. He's going to push Crevan LeBlanc. And obviously, Avonte Maddox was in the mix there. He's in the mix everywhere, inside, outside. He can play safety. That's good for him. He's versatile. So a guy you're probably going to see make the roster. I really like what I saw, and I like Avonte Maddox. And I think with less injuries and more putting people where they're supposed to be, we're going to see a much better defense. So those guys are going to battle inside. Sidney Jones, still trying to have faith in him, have his back, dealing with injuries, whatever. But at the end of last year, he did great. So I love what I saw from him. He's going to come in and compete. Rasul Douglas, he's never been that good. But, hey, man, we'll see where we go from there. Darius Slay, hell yeah. 24 on our Kobe, love that. Love it, man. You guys know I was more than excited. I was jumping through the roof about that pick. So can't wait for big play Slay. Cannot wait for him in an Eagles uniform. Also excited about Nickel Roby-Coleman myself. It's going to add competition all over the place, so that's huge. Some of the other guys, bottom of the roster, you got Tremont Smith and Trevor Williams. Bottom of the barrel guys. One of them loved Penn State, but come on. They're probably not going to make it. More camp bodies. Craig James is still there. Those guys are going to compete, but we thought, corner was somewhere where maybe we'd add someone. Not necessarily that we don't add somewhere in free agency there either. So excited to see if maybe, a Logan Ryan, somebody like that gets brought in. I don't know. We'll see. But who is opposite of Slay? And that's kind of what I was getting to there. Sidney Jones, I would love to see be the number two. I would really love to see him finally. He was supposed to be one of the top 15 picks in the draft, and then he gets hurt, tears his ACL, falls to us in the second round. I was so excited, was hoping he'd get healthy and ball out, and like we talked about, at the end of the year, it looked like we might just get what we drafted. So I'm very excited about the cornerback position, and, adding someone like Darius Slay is huge because he is going to make everyone around him better. He's going to help them get better. Hopefully it allows Sidney Jones to be that true number two. I'm excited, though, adding Nickel there and then Crevan. Oh, my. We talk about, and NFL is ever changing, passing the ball way more. You go against a team like the Chiefs, they're adding 4 wide receiver sets, 5 wide receivers, essentially. You're adding dudes like Hardman all over. So you want quick guys. You want this speed we're adding all over the place. You want these, dude, this is beautiful. It's giving Jim what he needs. Hopefully these guys stay healthy. Moving Mr. Jalen Mills back to safety is one of the moves I love the most. We've talked about it since I've been doing this for years. Needs to be used in the right situation. He and Will Parks will try to take over for that Malcolm Jenkins role. Then we draft someone like Kayvon Wallace, who, oh my God, dude can play safety, corner, just like Malcolm Jenkins, can play in the box. This kid is awesome. I am so excited about that pick. So they're all going to push each other, compete. Ronnie McLeod playing that free safety spot. They're all going to compete, push each other. You see 3 safeties. We play big nickel. We get guys all over the place. We talk about, all about the matchups, all that. So, but bringing guys that are hungry and competitions out there, what more could you ask for? You know what I mean? Traber says about if he comes into his own now, he has number one to learn from. Yeah, Sidney Jones. And that's what I really hope, that he truly takes this time to learn from him. And I think it's going to be huge. Right now, I'd be on the phone with him every day, learning stuff from him, asking him questions. Why'd you do this? How'd you do this? How were you ready for this? How did you get beat here? How'd you fix this? So that's what I'd be doing. Yeah, I'd be pumped. Now, Chair, talking about Kayvon Wallace, who was Dawkins support. Oh, yeah, man. Kayvon Wallace is going to be hopefully our safety of the future. And, he's someone that will line up like Malcolm Jenkins, like I said, all over the place. He can play that nickel corner spot. He can do it all. And, having leadership, Rodney McLeod, Darius Slay, guys like that to help him out, it's going to be huge. And I think that, he could really grow into something special for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that was big for us on day 3 of the draft because we're all still reeling. I woke up, I was trying to do stuff, and I'm still just like a quarterback. And I'm trying to just get excited about the draft, and I really just want to lose my mind. So I tried to be happy, and then boom, you go ahead and totally redeem yourself. Drafting Kayvon Wallace, which made me very excited. So turned the day around, made me very, very pumped. And, that day 3, I couldn't be more than excited about. I thought had a great day. So really, added some depth in positions we talked about. And that's what we talked about all off season. We got to add depth. We got to add speed. And, you hear what Howie said, you got to find out, are these kids fast? Did they love the sport? And were they healthy? Those are the most important things, man. We need people that are hungry, want to get that trophy back, man. Dude, we need that trophy back. I know as an Eagles fan, I am chomping at the bit. I know they won it, but we waited our whole lives for that, 30 plus years for me. And it was glorious. One of the best days of my life. And clearly, I'm not trying to be selfish. I'm just saying, we all want it back. And we know that we still have that caliber of team, if people just stay healthy. And that's the thing. We changed up the medical staff. We changed up all kinds of stuff where were the problems? What did I say every week? We talked about stuff. People were like, hey, this guy sucks. This sucks. Oh, this guy forever sucks. And it's like, well, this guy, and we talked about Mike Groh, Carson Walsh. We talked about all those people that needed to go. And now they're gone. And that makes me very happy because we knew what was going on. We saw the problems. And then, the medical staff, dear God, the last couple of years have been horrendous. So it's blown. It really has. So we added competition all over the board. I don't know why I just thought of this, but Prince Smith was one of the names I forgot. An undrafted free agent. He was a hometown kid as well. So I'm intrigued to see what he's got. And there was also those other guys. A kid from Army, Elijah Riley. Hold on one second. There was... Well, yeah, I guess I didn't even really talk about the safeties. We still have Marcus Epps and Rudy Ford from last year. So special teams guys that could compete. They know the system a little bit. But, yeah, that was it. Elijah Riley and then Graylin Arnold. Both of them, they're more of also that hybrid role. They can play safety. They can play cornerback. So that's, something we're always looking for. Are they versatile? If they're versatile, that's the name of the game. That's how you're going to – if you're looking to who to study, those are the kind of guys. That's literally where I focused on in the draft and still missed on most of them because you have no idea what they're thinking of. And a lot of these guys you're going to hear people are going to say, like someone like Davian Taylor, oh, that was a reach. He was projected. Like, first off, I don't give a damn who projected what. Take that all with a grain of salt. That we always talk about that. But these guys will do whatever the hell they please, whether they're drafted, first round, 7th round, undrafted. Don't care, man. Really don't. But I think this kid, we hear the word all the time. Oh, yeah. Well, I think being coached up, he could be something special. If you watch his tape, oh, my Lord. I honestly, I couldn't be more excited. Now, the thing that scares you, you're like, oh, but he is raw. So, is just going to come in and just – is he going to crap the bed because we've had enough of that kind of play all the time? It's what we deal with. So we're just looking for some damn healthy guys that are going to come in and compete and get us our damn trophy back. So from where I stand right now, looking at the 90 guys plus the one international player that's exempt, I'm excited. I really am. I think, breaking down all those positions, as I was doing earlier today, it was just like, man, like the starters at most positions, I'm pretty excited. Like I feel like we could definitely beat anybody. And, obviously linebacker is a very questionable spot. You look at your corner, sure, you have Darius Slay, but where do you go from there? Your number 2 is very, very important. And then that safety position, is Jalen Mills really going to be able to step it up? And if not, is Will Parks going to be able to step it up? And is Kayvon Wallace going to be ready? And I love Kayvon Wallace, and I don't want to put any kind of pressure on him. You saw the post I had shared the other day, that tweet, whatever, from Brian Dawkins, saying like essentially just let this kid be his own kid, and I can respect that. You can't put that kind of pressure on someone. So Brian Dawkins' son is his roommate. He's got that connection. So, of course, it excites us. And we're going to be excited. He's from Clemson. It reminds us. So, yeah, we're pumped, man. But don't put that pressure on him. I think he's going to come in, and I think he's just going to – he's going to walk the walk rather than talk the talk. I'm telling you, this kid's going to fit in perfect. And I think within a couple weeks, you'll see he could possibly start, which is fine. Who cares who's starting? These guys are all going to get playing time. We want to see Jalen Mills and Will Parks using that hybrid role anyway. So more than okay with how things are going there. But defensive line, we talked about possibly adding an edge rusher. Maybe Vinny Curry comes back. There's lots of names that we talked about that could be, still available. The defensive tackle position looks pretty nice to me. I think those guys can all push each other. Then on the offensive side of the ball, we talked about the line. A lot of talent, a lot of versatility, but also a lot of really young guys. So do you bring someone like Jason Peters back? I really think that it's a possibility. And, Derek Gunn says it's going to happen. So if it does, I'm okay with it. But I just hope, where people were pissed off about Jalen Hurts, where it's like, oh, you don't want to do that to Carson Wentz. It's like, well, if he's good enough, he's just going to go out and play. And the same goes for Dillard, man. You should be outplaying him at this age. Sure, he's still one of the best, and he's outplaying, a million guys in the league. But you got to come out and perform, man, and you got to show them that, there's no reason for him to be there and giving us, our favorite false start penalty every game. And I love JP. He's one of my favorites, so I'm not trying to hate on him, but we brought him in for a reason. So it's time to shine, young man. I love Andre Dillard. I think, got to toughen up, man, and then we'll be all set. So, and then you talk about obviously, everyone wants to talk about the quarterback, and we did. We talked a little bit about that, but I think we'll be perfectly fine in that department. And, the wide receiver, I love that we added speed. Hopefully, guys are healthy, so we're good there. Like the running backs we added, brought Corey Clement back. Love that. Holyfield and Warren, 2 tough guys. Then you have Killins, little fast back. So they're all going to compete. A lot of returners in there, a lot of people that are going to try to show that, they can contribute on more than just their respective offense or defense. So, if you can play special teams, hey, man, you're going to probably make the team if you're good at both. And, speaking of special teams, obviously Jake Elliott's still here. Cam Johnson we brought back, and I love that. He was restricted, but loving it. Then you have our holder forever, Rick Lovato, hopefully for the next 20 years, like Dorenbos was for us. So let's just let's be happy about what we have now, because I think we're heading in the right direction. I'm really pumped. Unfortunately, 35 of these guys that we talked about are not going to be on the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's unfortunate. But throughout the next few weeks, we will try to go over, who we like. And, things have gotten a little different, now that the cut downs aren't like they used to be, which is going to kind of take away from the fun of preseason. I know that sounds like an oxymoron to a lot of people. Like, wait, what? The fun of preseason? Yes. I love the preseason just as much. I mean, I love the draft. I love all that, because anything Eagles football to me, any chance I get to watch these players, it's great for me. Sure, I don't love the vanilla offense and defensive play calling. Not at all. But you got to take everything. You got to watch for certain things. You just watch the player. You don't try to take it. And also, when guys are having huge games, you're like, oh, this guy, he was the preseason Super Bowl champion, MVP. And it's like, well, they're playing against 3s and 4s. It's guys that aren't going to make the team. You put things into context. You understand why these guys are doing that. But, we've got a lot to go over. The next who knows when the hell football is going to be back, man. But we can all have hope, right? So I'm going to keep coming on. I'm going to keep trying to believe that it will be. And whether or not we are able to go, which will be the most horrible thing ever if we cannot go to the games, we'll still try to make it as best as we can and, go over stuff like we do all the time. But, just going over that roster and just all those picks that we made and all the guys coming back from injury, all the things considered, I really think that this is a Super Bowl contender. The few places we talked about adding depth, I think that will happen. Other than that, I think we're ready to go, man. So be excited, be happy. We added, and trust me, I know the one thing that I keep getting is the Jalen Hurts thing. I get it, dude. I do. You're pissed. But, dude, he's a Philadelphia Eagle. Get over it. Other than that, we added depth across the board. You'll hear people like, oh, Chris Sims didn't like the draw. Oh, Chris Sims. Oh, well, yeah, you suck, Chris Sims. No one cares. Your dad was a Giant. He sucks too. Anyways, just wanted to let you know. Well, speaking of the Giants sucking, Cowboys suck, Redskins suck, go Birds. We'll just throw that out there. But I can't wait for football. I'm chomping at the bit. I hate when the draft happens because then it's just like, oh, I want to see these new toys so badly. And obviously they all have to be scattered around and can't see each other. So it sucks. They can't have their off-season get-togethers and little cabin pictures and all that dance moves they get to practice. Son of a just want football back. I need it. So appreciate you guys bearing with me, coming along with me. For those of you who asked questions, I thank you so much for tuning in and participating. For those of you who just watched, don't want to chime in, I appreciate you too, man. Love it. Just trying to get by myself. So if you ever want to ask any questions, whether on here or anything, I'm always available. You can find me at OTR2 Victory. On the road to victory, baby. I'm on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, just trying to spread whatever knowledge I can and talk about my Birds passion and try to find people that are just like me. I started this group a couple years ago and just yesterday started on Twitter. So for any new Twitter followers or anybody watching, really appreciate it, man. I started this because I almost died a couple years ago, and on my deathbed, my beautiful girlfriend told me, why don't you focus on something you love? You're getting so angry when you're almost dying here, and you're more focused on how much these idiot reporters keep talking about stuff that's never going to happen. So why don't you go talk about what will? So we did. And then our first year, we talked about belief, right? We believed in our team. Go figure, Carson Wentz gets hurt. We say, believe in Nick Foles. He's going to get it done. What's he do? Wins the Super Bowl. Love it. So we just kept doing it. We're building on this, and we're going to keep building on it. So just looking for any diehard Eagles fans. If you know them, add them, send them my way. I'd love to build this family up. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. I'm going to get rolling out. I hope everybody is staying sane. For everybody that's out there, truck drivers, no matter what you do, nurses, gas station attendant, for anybody that has to be out there, I want to thank you for everything you're doing, putting your life on the line, your family's lives. Really appreciate you guys. Love you guys. If you need anything that, I'll do anything I can, food, clothes, you let me know. But have a great night, guys, and I'll try to talk tomorrow. All right. Go Birds!